Green Day is an American rock band formed in 1986 by lead vocalist and guitarist Billy Joe Armstrong and bassist Mike Dirnt. For much of the band's career, they have been a trio with drummer Trey Cool, who replaced John Kiffmeyer in 1990 prior to the recording of the band's second studio album, Kerplunk, 1991. Touring guitarist Jason White became an official member of Green Day in 2012, before returning to his role as a touring member in 2016. Green Day was originally part of the punk scene at the DIY 924 Gilman Street Club in Berkeley, California. The band's early releases were with the independent record label Lookout Records. In 1994, their major label debut Dookie, released through Reprise Records, became a breakout success and eventually shipped over 10 million copies in the U.S. Green Day is credited alongside fellow California punk bands including Sublime, Bad Religion, The Offspring and Rancid with popularizing mainstream interest in punk rock in the United States. Though Insomniac, 1995, Nimrod, 1997, and Warning, 2000, did not match the success of Dookie, Insomniac and Nimrod reached double platinum and Warning achieved gold status. Green Day's seventh album, American Idiot, 2004, a rock opera, found popularity with a younger generation, selling 6 million copies in the U.S. 21st Century Breakdown was released in 2009 and achieved the band's best chart performance. It was followed by a trilogy of albums, "! Uno, "! and "! released in September, November and December 2012 respectively. Green Day's 12th studio album, Revolution Radio, was released on October 7, 2016 and became their third to debut at number 1 on the Billboard 200. The band's 13th studio album, Father of All Motherfuckers, is expected to release in early 2020. Green Day has sold more than 85 million records worldwide. The group has won 5 Grammy Awards, Best Alternative Album for Dookie, Best Rock Album for American Idiot, Record of the Year for Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Best Rock Album for the second time for 21st Century Breakdown, and Best Musical Show Album for American Idiot, the original Broadway cast recording. In 2010, a stage adaptation of American Idiot debuted on Broadway. The musical was nominated for 3 Tony Awards, Best Musical, Best Scenic Design, and Best Lighting Design, winning the latter 2. In the same year, VH1 ranked Green Day 91st in its list of the 100 greatest artists of all time. The band was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2015, their first year of eligibility. History. Formation and Lookout. Years: 39/Smooth and Kerplunk, 1986 to 1993. In 1986, friends Billy Joe Armstrong and Mike Dirnt, 14 years old at the time, formed a band under the name Sweet Children. The group's first live performance took place on October 17, 1987, at Rod's Hickory Pit in Vallejo, California. In 1988, Armstrong and Dirnt began working with former Isocracy drummer John Kiffmeyer, also known as Al Sobrent. Armstrong cites the band Operation Ivy, which featured Tim Armstrong and Matt Freeman, who would later contact Armstrong to fill in as a possible second guitarist for their band Rancid, as a major influence, and a group that inspired him to form a band. In 1988, Larry Livermore, owner of Lookout Records, saw the band play an early show and signed the group to his label. In 1989, the band recorded its debut extended play, 1,000 Hours. Before 1,000 Hours was released, the group dropped the name Sweet Children. According to Livermore, this was done to avoid confusion with another local band Sweet Baby. The band adopted the name Green Day, due to the members' fondness for cannabis. Lookout released Green Day's debut studio album, 39/Smooth in early 1990. Green Day recorded 2 extended plays later that year, Slappy and Sweet Children, the latter of which included older songs that the band had recorded for the Minneapolis independent record label Skein Records. In 1991, Lookout Records re-released 39/Smooth under the name 1,039/Smoothed Out/Slappy Hours, and added the songs from the band's first two EPs, Slappy and 1000 Hours. In late 1990, shortly after the band's first nationwide tour, Kiffmeyer left the East Bay Area to attend Humboldt State University in Narrated, California. The Lookout's drummer Trey Cool began filling in as a temporary replacement, and later Cool's position as Green Day's drummer became permanent, which Kiffmeyer graciously accepted. The band went on tour for most of 1992 and 1993, and played a number of shows overseas in Europe. The band's second studio album Kerplunk sold 50,000 copies in the U.S. Breakthrough success, Dookie and Insomniac, 1994 to 1996. Kerplunk's underground success led to a number of major record labels being interested in signing Green Day, and the band eventually left Lookout and signed to Reprise Records after attracting the attention of producer Rob Cavallo. The group was impressed by his work with fellow Californian band The Muffs, and later remarked that Cavallo was the only person we could really talk to and connect with. Reflecting on the period, Armstrong told Spin magazine in 1999, "I couldn't go back to the punk scene, whether we were the biggest success in the world or the biggest failure. The only thing I could do was get on my bike and go forward." After signing with Reprise, the band went to work on recording its major label debut, Dookie. Recorded in 3 weeks, and released in February 1994, Dookie became a commercial success, helped by extensive MTV airplay for the videos of the songs Longview, Basket Case, and When I Come Around, all of which reached the #1 position on the Modern Rock Tracks charts. The album went on to sell over 10 million copies in the U.S. At a performance on September 9, 1994 at Hatch Memorial Shell in Boston, mayhem broke out during the band's set, cut short to 7 songs, and by the end of the rampage, 100 people were injured and 45 arrested. The band also joined the lineups of both the Lollapalooza Festival and Woodstock '94, where the group started an infamous mud fight. During the concert, a security guard mistook bassist Mike Dirnt for a stage-invading fan and punched out some of his teeth. Viewed by millions by pay-per-view television, the Woodstock 1994 performance further aided Green Day's growing publicity and recognition, and helped push its album to eventual diamond status. In 1995, Dookie won the Grammy Award for Best Alternative Album, and the band was nominated for 9 MTV Video Music Awards including Video of the Year. In 1995, a new single for the Angus soundtrack was released, entitled JAR. The single debuted at #1 on the Billboard Modern Rock Tracks chart. The song was followed by the band's 4th studio album, Insomniac, which was released in the fall of 1995. Insomniac was a much darker and heavier response to the band's newfound popularity, compared to the more melodic Dookie. The album opened to a warm critical reception, earning 4 out of 5 stars from Rolling Stone, which said in punk, "The good stuff actually unfolds and gains meaning as you listen without sacrificing any of its electric, haywire immediacy. And Green Day are as good as this stuff gets." The singles released from Insomniac were Geek Stink Breath, Stuck With Me, Brain Stew, Jaded, and Walking Contradiction. Though the album did not approach the success of Dookie, it sold 2 million copies in the United States. In addition, the album won the band award nominations for Favorite Artist, Favorite Hard Rock Artist, and Favorite Alternative Artist at the 1996 American Music Awards, and the video for Walking Contradiction got the band a Grammy nomination for Best Video, Short Form, in addition to a Best Special Effects nomination at the MTV Video Music Awards. After that, the band abruptly cancelled a European tour, citing exhaustion. Middle years and decline in commercial success, Nimrod and Warning, 1997 to 2002. After a brief hiatus in 1996, Green Day began to work on a new album in 1997. From the outset, both the band and Cavallo agreed that the album had to be different from its previous albums. The result was Nimrod, an experimental deviation from the band's standard pop-punk brand of music. The new album was released in October 1997. It provided a variety of music, from pop-punk, surf rock, and ska, to an acoustic ballad. Nimrod entered the charts at number 10. The success of Good Riddance, Time of Your Life, won the band an MTV Video Award for Best Alternative Video. The song was also used in the second clip show episode of Seinfeld and on 2 episodes of ER. The other singles released from Nimrod were Nice Guys Finish Last, Hitchin' a Ride and Redundant. The band made a guest appearance in an episode of King of the Hill entitled The Man Who Shot Kane's Greta Berg, which aired in 1997. In late 1997 and most of 1998, Green Day embarked on a tour in support of Nimrod. In 1999, guitarist Jason White began supporting the band during concerts as rhythm guitarist. In 2000, Green Day released its 6th studio album Warning. In support of the album, the band participated in the Warped Tour in 2000. In November 2000, the band performed for free on the steps on San Francisco City Hall to protest the eviction of artists from the city in a show produced by Ian Brennan. The band also had an independent tour to support the album in 2001. Critics' reviews of the album were varied. AllMusic gave it 4.55, saying Warning may not be an innovative record per se, but it's tremendously satisfying. Rolling Stone was more critical, giving it 3.5, and saying Warning invites the question, who wants to listen to songs of faith, hope and social commentary from what used to be Snotcore's biggest-selling band? Though it produced the hit Minority and a smaller hit with Warning, some observers were coming to the conclusion that the band was losing relevance, and a decline in popularity followed. While all of Green Day's previous albums had reached a status of at least double platinum, Warning was only certified gold. At the 2001 California Music Awards, Green Day won all 8 of the awards for which the group was nominated. The group won the awards for Outstanding Album, Warning, Outstanding Punk Rock, Ska Album, Warning, Outstanding Group, Outstanding Male Vocalist, Outstanding Bassist, Outstanding Drummer, Outstanding Songwriter, and Outstanding Artist. The release of 2 compilation albums, International Super Hits and Shenanigans, followed Warning. International Super Hits and its companion collection of music videos, International Super Videos. Shenanigans contained some of the band's B-sides, including Espionage, which was featured in the film Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, and was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Rock Instrumental Performance. In the spring of 2002, Green Day co-headlined the Pop Disaster Tour with Blink-182, which was documented on the DVD Riding in Vans with Boys. American Idiot and renewed success, 2003 to 2006. In the summer of 2003, the band went into a studio to write and record new material for a new album, tentatively titled Cigarettes and Valentines. After completing 20 tracks, the master recordings were stolen from the studio. Instead of re-recording the stolen tracks, the band decided to abandon the entire project and start over, considering the taken material to be unrepresentative of the band's best work. It was then revealed that a band called The Network was signed to Armstrong's record label Adeline Records with little fanfare and information. After the band, who concealed their identities with masks and costumes, released an album called Money Money 2020, it was rumored that The Network was a Green Day side project, due to the similarities in the band's sounds. However, these rumors were never addressed by the band or Adeline Records, except for a statement on the Adeline website discussing an ongoing dispute between the two bands. The bands feuded via press releases and statements from Armstrong. Several journalists openly referred to the group as a Green Day side project, although it was not confirmed as such until 2013. Green Day collaborated with Iggy Pop on 2 tracks for his album Skull Ring in November 2003. On February 1, 2004, a new song, a cover of I Fought the Law, made its debut on a commercial for iTunes during NFL Super Bowl 38. American Idiot, 2004, debuted at number 1 on the Billboard charts, the band's first album to reach number 1, backed by the success of the album's first single, American Idiot. The album was labeled as a punk rock opera which follows the journey of the fictitious Jesus of suburbia. The album depicts modern American life under the control of an idiot ruler who let people be misinformed by the media and a redneck agenda. It gives different angles on an everyman, modern icons, and leaders. Released 2 months before U.S. President George W. Bush was re-elected, the album became protest art. American Idiot won the 2005 Grammy for Best Rock Album. The band also won a total of 7 out of 8 awards for which the group was nominated, including the Viewer's Choice Award at the MTV Video Music Awards in 2005. The album went on to sell 6 million copies in the U.S. Through 2005, the band toured in support of the album with nearly 150 dates, which was the longest tour in the band's career, visiting Japan, Australia, South America and the United Kingdom. While touring for American Idiot, the group filmed and recorded the 2 concerts at the Milton Keynes National Bowl in England, which was voted the best show on earth in a Kerrang! Magazine poll. These recordings were released as a live CD and DVD called Bullet in a Bible on November 15, 2005. This CD/DVD featured songs from American Idiot as well as songs from all its previous albums, except Kerplunk and 1,039/Smoothed Out Slappy Hours. The DVD featured behind-the-scenes footage of the band, and showed how the band prepared to put on the show. The final shows of its 2005 World Tour were in Sydney and Melbourne in Australia, on December 14 and 17, respectively. On August 1, 2005, Green Day announced that it had rescinded the master rights to its pre-Dookie material from Lookout Records, citing a continuing breach of contract regarding unpaid royalties, a complaint shared with other Lookout bands. On January 10, 2006, the band was awarded a People's Choice Award as Favorite Musical Group or Band. 21st Century Breakdown and American Idiot stage adaptation, 2007 to 2010. Green Day engaged in a number of other smaller projects in the time following the success of American Idiot. The group released an album under the name Foxborough Hot Tubs entitled Stop Drop and Roll. In 2008, the Foxborough Hot Tubs went on a mini tour to promote the record, hitting tiny Bay Area venues including the Stork Club in Oakland and Toots Tavern in Crockett, California. In an interview with Carson Daly, Garbage lead singer Shirley Manson revealed that Butch Vig would be producing Green Day's forthcoming album. The span of nearly 5 years between American Idiot and 21st Century Breakdown was the longest gap between studio albums in Green Day's career. The band had been working on new material since January 2006. By October 2007, Armstrong had 45 songs written, but the band showed no further signs of progress until October 2008, when 2 videos showing the band recording in the studio with producer Butch Vig were posted on YouTube. The writing and recording process, spanning 3 years and 4 recording studios, was finally finished in April 2009. 21st Century Breakdown was released on May 15, 2009. The album received a mainly positive reception from critics, getting an average rating between 3 and 4 stars. After the release, the album reached number 1 in 14 countries, being certified gold or platinum in each. 21st Century Breakdown achieved Green Day's best chart performance to date. The band started playing shows in California in April and early May. These were the group's first live shows in about 3 years. Green Day went on a world tour that started in North America in July 2009 and continuing around the world throughout the rest of 2009 and early 2010. Walmart refused to carry the album as it contains a parental advisory sticker and requested that Green Day release a censored edition. The band members did not wish to change any lyrics on the album and responded by stating, "There's nothing dirty about our record. They want artists to censor their records in order to be carried in there. We just said no. We've never done it before. You feel like you're in 1953 or something." In 2009, the band met with award-winning director Michael Meyer and many cast and crew members of the Tony Award-winning musical Spring Awakening to create a stage version of the album American Idiot. American Idiot opened in the Berkeley Repertory Theater during the end of 2009. The show features an expanded story of the original album, with new characters such as Will, Extraordinary Girl, and Favorite Son. On April 20, 2010, American Idiot opened on Broadway, and Green Day released the soundtrack to the musical, featuring a new song by Green Day entitled When It's Time. In June 2010, iTunes released When It's Time as a single. During the Spike TV Video Game Awards 2009, it was announced that Green Day was set to have its own rock band video game titled Green Day Rock Band, as a follow-up to the last band-specific rock band game, The Beatles Rock Band. The game features the full albums of Dookie, American Idiot, and 21st Century Breakdown, as well as select songs from the rest of Green Day's discography. During the second leg of the 21st Century Breakdown World Tour, the band members stated that they were writing new material. In an interview with Kerrang! Magazine, Armstrong spoke about the possible new album. "We did some demos in Berlin, some in Stockholm, some just outside of Glasgow, and some in Amsterdam. We wanted get the songs down in some early form." The band members also stated that the group was recording a live album of the tour, featuring the previously unreleased song Cigarettes and Valentines. In October 2010, Dirnt was interviewed by Radio W, mentioning that the group had completed the writing process of the 9th studio album. In the interview, Dirnt also mentioned that a new live album would most likely be released. The live CD/DVD and CD, Blu-ray entitled Awesome as Fuck was released on March 22, 2011. Inverted exclamation mark Uno. Inverted exclamation mark DOS. Inverted exclamation mark Trey. 2011 to 2014. During the end of 2011, the band played several secret shows, under the name Foxborough Hot Tubs, whose setlists consisted almost entirely of previously unheard songs. Green Day entered the studio and began recording new material in February 2012, later announcing a trilogy of albums titled Inverted exclamation mark Uno, Inverted exclamation mark DOS, and Inverted exclamation mark Trey, which would be released in the fall of 2012. The trilogy marked longtime touring guitarist Jason White's induction as the fourth member of the band. That summer, Green Day played several festivals and promotional shows, including the Rock Insane Festival in France, the Rock am See Festival in Germany, and the Reading Festival in the United Kingdom. Inverted exclamation mark Uno, Inverted exclamation mark DOS, and Inverted exclamation mark Trey were released on September 21, November 9, and December 7, 2012, respectively, and were met with generally positive reviews from critics, though fans were more lukewarm towards the albums. On January 22, 2013, the band announced that Inverted exclamation mark Quattro, a documentary about the making of Inverted exclamation mark Uno, Inverted exclamation mark DOS, and Inverted exclamation mark Trey, would premiere on January 26 in Aspen, Colorado as part of the X Games Film Showcase, and would be released on DVD April 9, 2013. Another documentary was announced called Broadway Idiot, which focuses on the creation on the American Idiot musical and Armstrong's run as playing the character of Saint Jimmy. On March 10, 2013, Green Day began its 99 Revolutions tour to support the trilogy. In June, Green Day broke Emirates Stadium attendance record with 60,000 tickets sold. The band played Dookie from start to finish on several dates on the tour's European leg, including during the Reading Festival 2013 headline show. Demolicious, a compilation album that contains alternate versions and demos of songs from "!" Uno, "DOS, and "Tray." Recorded during the studio sessions of these albums, was released on April 19, 2014, for Record Store Day. It also contains a previously unreleased song called "State of Shock" and an acoustic version of "Stay the Night," from "Uno. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Revolution Radio, New Greatest Hits Compilation, 2015 to 2017. Green Day performed its first concert in a year on April 16, 2015. The group first played a set as Sweet Children with John Kiffmeyer, followed by a set as Green Day. On April 18, 2015, Green Day were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame by Fall Out Boy. On April 24, 2015, Rob Cavallo revealed Green Day were recording a 12th studio album. Cavallo claimed to have heard 5 new songs that Billy has written and demoed, and that the fans should be sure that when they do return, the music will be amazing. On December 24, 2015, Green Day released a Christmas song, "Christmas Time of the Year." On August 11, 2016, Green Day released the first single, "Bang Bang," from the group's album Revolution Radio, which was released on October 7, 2016. Jason White was demoted back to being a touring member, and the band confirmed that he would not appear on the album. The band went on a world tour supporting the album. In November 2016, the band performed at the American Music Awards in Los Angeles and made a political statement about the then recent U.S. election of Donald Trump by chanting "No Trump, no KKK, no Fascist USA" during their rendition of "Bang Bang." The band released their second greatest hits compilation, "God's Favorite Band," on November 17, 2017. It contains 20 of their hits, along with 2 new tracks. A new version of the Revolution Radio track "Ordinary World," featuring country singer Miranda Lambert, and a previously unreleased song titled "Back in the USA." Father of All Motherfuckers and Continued Activity, 2018-present. On April 13, 2019, for Record Store Day, the band released their Woodstock 1994 performance on vinyl for the first time. It contains all 9 songs they played live, as well as audio of the ensuing mud fight. On September 10, 2019, the band announced the Hella Mega Tour with Fall Out Boy and Weezer as headliners alongside themselves, with the Interrupters as the opening act. They also released the single, "Father of All," off their upcoming 13th album, "Father of All Motherfuckers." On September 30, 2019, Green Day signed a 2-year agreement with the National Hockey League, NHL. Musical style and influences. Green Day's sound is often compared to first-wave punk rock bands such as the Ramones, The Clash, the Dickies, and the Buzzcocks. Stylistically, the group is characterized as punk rock, pop-punk, alternative rock, pop rock, and power pop. Stephen Thomas Erlewine of AllMusic described Green Day as punk revivalists who recharged the energy of speedy, catchy 3-chord punk pop songs. While Armstrong is the primary songwriter, he looks to the other band members for organizational help. Billy Joe Armstrong has mentioned that some of his biggest influences are seminal alternative rock bands Husker Du and The Replacements, and that their influence is particularly noted in the band's chord changes in songs. Green Day has covered Husker Du's "Don't Want to Know If You Are Lonely" as a B-side to the Warning single, and the character Mr. Worley in the group's song "Misery" is a reference to The Replacements' song of the same name. Among other influences, Green Day have also cited the Kinks, The Who and power pop pioneers Cheap Trick. English rock musician Noel Gallagher of Oasis complained about the band semi-jokingly, claiming that the band had ripped off his song Wonderwall with its song Boulevard of Broken Dreams. Green Day has cited Operation Ivy as a big influence. In August 1996, Billy Joe Armstrong told Guitar World in August 1996 he can remember a few different instances of when he first discovered punk rock. There were these two guys who introduced me to things like DOA and the Dead Kennedys. Then, in the 7th grade, there was a girl at school who would bring in records like TSOL and say, "Here, listen to this." Armstrong said he thinks he really started getting into punk rock in 1987 with Turn It Around, a double 7-inch compilation record put out by punk fanzine, Maximum Rock'n'Roll. Armstrong cited Turn It Around as an influence, calling it a pretty big record for him. Although Green Day has been compared to the Buzzcocks, the Ramones and the Clash, Mike Dirnt said he had never heard the Buzzcocks when Green Day began. Dirnt said, "First off, you can't sound like any of those bands. And secondly, those are probably the last ones in my record collection." Armstrong responded to Dirnt, saying, "Mine too. Those are all bands I got into later." The Dickies is another band Green Day has been compared to. Dirnt said he never owned a Dickies album, although he did see the Dickies live around the time of Kerplunk. Dirnt said by that time, "We'd played so many shows it really had no bearing." Armstrong referred to the Dickies as just another Ramones ripoff. Although in August 1996, Armstrong said bands like the Ramones are bands he listened to later, in June 2010, Armstrong cited the Ramones as an influence. He also said his range of favorite songwriters goes anywhere from the Sex Pistols all the way to Lennon-McCartney. During the American Idiot and 21st Century Breakdown era of Green Day, the band was influenced by The Who, U2, Motown albums, and musicals such as Grease. Legacy. The band's 1992 album Kerplunk is one of the best-selling independent albums of all time, selling over 4 million worldwide. Green Day is credited, alongside Sublime, Bad Religion, The Offspring, and Rancid, with popularizing mainstream interest in punk rock in the United States. Particularly the album Dookie, which was cited by Fuse as the most important pop-punk album of all time and named the best alternative album of 1994 by Rolling Stone. It was also placed on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's definitive 200 list of 200 classic albums. Both Dookie and American Idiot appeared on Rolling Stone's list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. As of 2015, Green Day has sold more than 85 million records worldwide. In 2010, VH1 ranked Green Day 91st in its list of the 100 greatest artists of all time. The band was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in April 2015, their first year of eligibility. Related projects. Since 1991, members of the band have branched out past Green Day, starting other projects with various musicians. Notable projects related to Green Day include Billy Joe Armstrong's Pinhead Gunpowder with Jason White and The Long Shot with Jeff Mitica, The Frustrators with Mike Dirnt, and The Network, a collaboration between Green Day and members of the band Devo in which all members play under fake stage names. Green Day has also released an album titled Stop Drop and Roll. On May 20, 2008, under the name Foxborough Hot Tubs, which the band uses to book secret shows. In late December 2011, Armstrong formed a family band called The Boo which recorded a one-off Christmas record for their friends and family, making a few copies available in a local store. In September 2006, Green Day collaborated with U2 and producer Rick Rubin to record the cover of the song The Saints Are Coming, originally recorded by the Skids, with an accompanying video. The song was recorded to benefit Music Rising, an organization to help raise money for musicians' instruments lost during Hurricane Katrina, and to bring awareness on the eve of the one-year anniversary of the disaster. In December 2006, Green Day and NRDC opened a website in partnership to raise awareness on America's dependency on oil. Green Day released a cover of the John Lennon song Working Class Hero, which was featured on the album Instant Karma, the Amnesty International campaign to save Darfur. The band performed the song on the season finale of American Idol. The song was nominated for a Grammy Award in 2008 but lost to the White Stripes' Icky Thump. That summer, the band appeared in a cameo role in The Simpsons movie, where the band performs the show's theme song. Green Day's version was released as a single on July 23, 2007. In 2009, the band collaborated with theater director Michael Meyer to adapt the group's rock opera American Idiot into a one-act stage musical that premiered at the Berkeley Rep on September 15, 2009. The show then moved to Broadway on April 20, 2010. The reviews of American Idiot, the musical, have been positive to mixed. Charles Isherwood of the New York Times wrote an enthusiastic review for the Broadway production. He called the show a pulsating portrait of wasted youth that invokes all the standard genre conventions, only to transcend them through the power of its music and the artistry of its execution. The show is as invigorating and ultimately as moving as anything I've seen on Broadway this season. Or maybe for a few seasons past. Jed Gottlieb of the Boston Herald enjoyed the premise of the show but found that the music and message suffer in a setting where the audience is politely, soberly seated. Michael Kuchawara of the Associated Press found the show to be visually striking, and musically adventurous, but noted that the show has the barest wisp of a story and minimal character development. Paul Kolnick in USA Today enjoyed the contradiction that Green Day's massively popular, starkly disenchanted album would be the feel-good musical of the season. Time magazine's Richard Zoglin opined that the score is as pure a specimen of contemporary punk rock as Broadway has yet encountered, yet, there's enough variety. Where the show falls short is as a fully developed narrative. He concluded that American Idiot, despite its earnest huffing and puffing, remains little more than an annotated rock concert. Still, it deserves at least 2 cheers, for its irresistible musical energy and for opening fresh vistas for that odd couple, rock and Broadway. Peter Travers from Rolling Stone, in his review of American Idiot, wrote, though American Idiot carries echoes of such rock musicals as Tommy, Hair, Rent, and Spring Awakening, it cuts its own path to the heart. You won't know what hit you. American Idiot knows no limits, it's a global knockout. The musical has been nominated for 3 Tony Awards, including Best Musical and Best Scenic Design. It was also nominated for a number of Drama Desk Awards and Outer Critics Circle Awards. In October 2009, a Green Day art project was exhibited at Stolen Space Gallery in London. The exhibition showed artworks created for each of the songs on 21st Century Breakdown, was supported by the band, and led by the group's manager Pat Magnarella. He explained in an interview that, artists are, basically like rock bands. Most are creating their art, but don't know how to promote it. For Billy Joe Armstrong, many of the artists show their work on the street, and we feel a strong connection to that type of creative expression. On April 13, 2011, a film version of American Idiot was confirmed. Michael Meyer, director of the Broadway musical, will be directing the film. It will be produced by Green Day, Pat Magnarella, Green Day's manager who also produced Bullet in a Bible, Awesome as Fuck, and Heart Like a Hand Grenade, Playtone, Tom Hanks and Gary Goetzman, and Tom Hulse. On January 23, 2013, it was announced that a documentary showing Armstrong's journey from punk rock to Broadway was to be released. Called Broadway Idiot and showing a lot of behind the scenes of the American Idiot musical production, the movie was directed by Doug Hamilton, veteran television journalist for CBS News 60 Minutes and PBS documentaries such as Nova, Frontline, and American Masters. A trailer was released on January 30, 2013. The documentary premiered at the South by Southwest Film Festival on March 15, 2013. Green Day served as executive producers of Turn It Around, The Story of East Bay Punk, 2017, an extensive documentary film about the San Francisco Bay Area punk scene from the late 1970s to the 1990s. Controversies. Green Day has generated controversy over whether their musical style and major label status constitutes true punk. In reaction to both the style of music and the background of the band, John Lydon, former frontman of the 1970s punk band The Sex Pistols, commented, "So there we are fending off all that, and it pisses me off that years later a wank outfit like Green Day hop in and nick all that and attach it to themselves. They didn't turn their wings to do that, and if they were true punk they wouldn't look anything like they do." Armstrong has discussed the group's status of being a punk band on a major record label, saying, "Sometimes I think we've become totally redundant because we're this big band now, we've made a lot of money, we're not punk rock anymore. But then I think about it and just say, you can take us out of a punk rock environment, but you can't take the punk rock out of us." On September 21, 2012, while Green Day was performing at the iHeartRadio Music Festival, Armstrong stopped while performing Basket Case, because he believed the group's time was being shortened, possibly in order to extend R&B artist Usher's performance. Angered, Armstrong began ranting while a screen in the rear of the audience was labeled 1 minute left, saying, "You're not gonna give me 1 fucking minute? You've gotta be fucking kidding me." He also told the crowd he was not Justin Bieber and labeled the festival as a joke. When the screen went blank, Armstrong smashed his guitar, while bassist Mike Dirnt smashed his bass. Armstrong then gave the finger, and declared that Green Day would be back before throwing his microphone down and walking off the stage. 2 days later, the band's representative apologized for the incident on the group's behalf, stating that Green Day would like everyone to know that their set was not cut short by Clear Channel and to apologize to those they offended at the iHeartRadio Festival in Las Vegas, also adding that Armstrong will be headed to rehab for abuse of alcohol and prescription pills. However, Dirnt would later say in an interview with Rolling Stone that he agreed with what Armstrong meant by his rant. On July 7, 2017, about 20 minutes before Green Day headlined a Mad Cool festival in Madrid, an acrobat fell about 30 meters, 98 feet, from a cage above the stage and died. Some fans were upset at the band and festival organizers for continuing the show, which was attended by about 35,000 people. On their website, Armstrong said the band did not know about the accident before their set, and likely would not have played if they had. Band members. Timeline. Awards and nominations. Discography. 39/Smooth, 1990. Kerplunk, 1991. Dookie, 1994. Insomniac, 1995. Nimrod, 1997. Warning, 2000. American Idiot, 2004. 21st Century Breakdown, 2009. Inverted exclamation mark Uno, 2012. Inverted exclamation mark DOS, 2012. Inverted exclamation mark Trey, 2012. Revolution Radio, 2016. Father of All Motherfuckers, 2020. See also: Green Day, rock band. List of best-selling albums in the United States. Further reading.